all of us Johnny-come-latelys, those who, are not quite 80 years old or whatever, we may not be so familiar with this venue. You see, it opened in Detroit in 1949, I think June 26th, exact date, and it was closed by 1963. So a whole lot of you who are checking this out obviously missed it. Morris Wasserman opened this thing up, and it became an outlet for the elite in black entertainment, entertainers and patrons, upscale kind of a joint. It was fancy, oh, it was fancy. It had so much neon that they said, they call it the flame because it lit up the entire block. It was like being in the sunlight all the time. The flame was quite the attraction. And everybody came through there. The ownership decided to use both national and international artists, and on some nights reserved for local artists. And this was a very good plan, because not only did they bring in Billie Holiday and Della Reese and Dinah Washington and Nina Simone and B.B. King and Joe Turner and many, many, many others, but they also launched the career of locals like Laverne Baker and the great Jackie Wilson. They had a kicking house band, 17-piece house band that was led by Maurice King, who was a very learned musician who had gone to Tennessee, A&I, they called it in those days. We call it Tennessee State now, Tennessee State University. It is an HBCU in Nashville, Tennessee. Most certainly has a great legacy in many areas, and most certainly in the area of music. A lot of great jazz artists and pop artists have come through that program. Mr. King was no exception. He had done military service, he had played most instruments, he was a great arranger. He wanted a big band sound with as few horns as possible, and he had learned to score things to get a very big sound no matter what. So when artists would come in that were traveling on the road with their chart for 6 horns or 7 horns, he could rearrange that for 3 horns and make it sound just as big. And the one thing he did as an educated musician is he educated his musicians. Oh yeah, he gave them lessons. Make this better, fatter tone here, try it this way. He was a master of most instruments. And so his band was always on point and always improving. And all the artists who came through loved coming to the Flame because they knew the backup band was going to be jamming. Oh yeah. Now, let me tell you how this thing went. A young Barry Gordy used to hang out at this club. Networking, they called it, networking. He was checking out all the younger musicians who were coming up and singers, trying to establish his little record company that would soon be known as Motown. That's right. Motown was built on the back of the Flame Show Bar. You say, come on, Frank, you gotta be kidding. Well, not really. Maurice King became the music director and artist development person for early Motown. He held that position for 10 years. And when he left Motown, he did the same job for the Spinners. So he was right there. And a lot of the musicians that were used in the early Motown recordings when they were in Detroit were musicians who first played with Maurice King, jazz and blues and whatnot, at the Flame. So these were people who were well steeped in jazz, which means playing R&B and later soul was nothing to them. They could do it without very, very much effort. And the band kept getting better. But you know how things go, trends change, times change, neighborhoods change. People want to do urban renewal and urban development and this and that. And so the Flame Club, unfortunately, closed its doors for the last time in 1963. But you say, so what happened to that corner with all the lights and all of that glitter and all that ambiance and that history of really showcasing black elegance and talent and dignity and all? What happened to that? Well, let me tell you what happened to it. It is now a parking garage. Welcome to Detroit, baby. The Flame Club is no more. But the legacy set up by Watchman and King lives on as long as there is a Motown and as long as there are musicians coming out of Detroit. There will always be remnants of the Flame Show Bar burning as brightly as it burned in the 50s. All right. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that.